energy.
Right.
Did I articulate that right?
Yes, yes. I've been working with a group called the National Council for Science and the Environment to see if we can start a project that will help colleges and universities to vastly increase their teaching on energy. We have a few universities that are doing a very good job.
Like who?
Stanford University, University of California at Berkeley, MIT in Massachusetts, University of Delaware, all have very good programs.
Energy, right?
On energy.
Before we get back to that, even though I introduced it a bit, why is it now, why didn't we have a curriculum, a department of teaching energy 10, 20, 30, 50 years ago? Why must you create something new?
It's a very good question. I think the real answer is, up until the last 10 to 20 years, energy was so plentiful in the United States and so cheap, it was not considered much of a problem. You train a few engineers, they find oil, they find gas, they make big electric power plants, they can run nuclear power plants, they build dams for hydropower. You just let the engineers do it. We are now moving into an era where energy is not going to be plentiful and cheap the way it was 100 years ago. And this means that it's going to affect every citizen, and every citizen needs the wherewithal to be able to participate in making the choices about what we're going to do in the future. In 100 years from now, we will have a different energy system than we have now. I don't know what it's going to be like. I just know it's going to be different. And I would like to have the people play a significant role in making the decision, not just engineers. Engineers are great on technical things, but energy is so important that everybody needs to participate at some level.
Okay, years ago energy was plentiful, right? Now it's not so plentiful, and some of the energy, the use of it, is harmful.
Yes.
To the planet.
And to us.
Yes, to us. So you're advocating that universities like Michigan, Oberlin College, and others recognize that they should set up a new department that just pulls all the sciences, the biologies, the physics all together and focuses on preparing students to solve some of the problems that we now face and at the same time find work.
That's right. And, students are very much attuned to the fact, with the students I taught at Evergreen, students I've seen elsewhere, they're very attuned that they know energy is a very large problem. And many of them have a certain level of frustration with the institutions that they can't find the courses to give them the ability to go out and do something that's in the right direction.
All right. What is the number one reason colleges and universities do not put an energy department curriculum in place?
I think it really starts with a lack of vision. Energy is going to be the defining issue of the 21st century. The National Science Board has said this. This is a federal organization that speaks about science. Universities have not risen to the challenge of, if it's the defining issue, how are we going to help students cope with it? And that's what needs to happen. There has to be a vision and an understanding that this is a really important problem and we need new programs and new things to teach about. And of course, this is where a tremendous number of new jobs are going to lie.
So the work you're doing, what have you learned and what are your suggestions for how to get the universities and the colleges to start an energy department?
Well, first of all, faculty and administrators and students have to work together to create this vision, that this is important.
How do you get them to take that first step?
That's one of the things I think is necessary, it takes science, it takes political discussion, it takes art, it takes paintings like you've done.
Oh, thank you.
It takes films. People understand these things sometimes first at a gut level, at an emotional level, and later they get the ability to analyze and figure out what's really going on. So I say we have to work on all of these fronts to convey in as many ways as possible. One of the things that I think is slowly starting is various museums, science museums, are starting to have energy displays. This is very important because people go to museums, they take their kids there.
They learn.
And they learn. And we need museums working on this. We need the K through 12, the kindergarten through high school working on this. And we need the colleges and graduate schools to have the courses that will help people understand the system and how to essentially craft a career where they can get employment and do the right thing.
Good. I heard you. I like everything. But the project you're working on, will there be any kind of outreach to the universities and the colleges to try to get them to pull their professors and the administration and faculty, the donors, the people who give them the big grants? Are you going to send something out to these?
Yes, yes. What we would like to do is to bring together faculty and administrators to start talking about what's the challenge, what's the vision necessary, what is it we have to teach. We have to know. Faculty will always have to know what it is they're supposed to teach, so we have to figure that out.
You figured it out already, though, haven't you?
Well, I made a start, and what I found was the students responded to it very, very well. And when I've told other faculty at other institutions about it, they said, yeah, I've gotten a lot of encouragement from that.
Can you just give me a quick hint as to what the key was that you found?
The key was that most people, when they think about energy, they think about gasoline because they put it in their car. They think about the electric bill because they know they have to pay the electric company. They think about specific forms of energy, and at the moment, people are very attuned. If it gets too expensive, they get mad, and they get unhappy, and crisis comes. So what I want people to do is to understand we have a whole economy based on energy, which is electricity, oil, natural gas, coal, nuclear, hydropower, wind, solar, geothermal, and you have to see it as a big picture. How much energy does it take to run the country? The second thing that has to happen is people have to learn every energy form has good things about it and bad things. There's no energy that doesn't have good things. There's no energy that doesn't have bad things. And people have to learn how to make trade-offs and choices. Which good things am I going to really need, and which bad things do I absolutely have to avoid? And then you make a choice, and you can solve problems.
So you put all of this together already?
Yes.
Okay. And so you have a curriculum?
Yes, I had a curriculum that worked very well in the college that I taught in. But institutions are different. So what worked in my college won't necessarily work at another college. So the faculty at each institution have to think about their students, what background they have, what are their professional goals, and then make something that works for that institution.
So it seems to me energy is an interdisciplinary new department where you have to bring in some of the political science, some of the economists, you have to bring in some folks in the physics, the chemistry area, and a few others.
That's right, yes.
Okay.
It takes many disciplines to understand the big picture, and no discipline has a monopoly. So lots of people have to work together.
Okay. The United States does not have a comprehensive climate change energy policy. Would that be correct?
That's correct, I think.
California leads?
California is definitely a leader.
Okay. And why doesn't the United States have a comprehensive climate and energy policy?
Well, there are multiple reasons. Let me just give two that I think are pretty strong. One is this country depends very heavily on coal. to generate electricity. It turns out we have an enormous amount of coal, and it's very inexpensive. If you have an enormous amount of coal, you can get very good electricity that everybody loves, and it's cheap. The question is, why change?
Why change? And then the other point you brought up earlier, even though the coal fills the atmosphere with greenhouse gases, the public, because of their lack of science education, and they're busy and all whatever, and magical thinking, has a hard time understanding that that creates climate change, and that's bad for all of us.
That's right. It's really making that connection that if you burn coal or gasoline or natural gas, you make carbon dioxide, you're going to change the climate. And the problem is we get so many benefits at such low cost, it's very hard to say, oh, well, let's change.
Okay, that's wonderful. Could you very quickly give me 3 suggestions that you would like to say to the heads of all the universities and colleges and their faculty on what they should do to start moving forward with a energy department, and sort of like bullets, okay?
Sure. First thing is they have to get a critical mass of a group of faculty, dozen faculty in each institution who really are committed to this. Second, the president and the vice presidents and the deans have to encourage these people to work together, and at many universities this is very hard because people in one department don't necessarily have to work with somebody in another department. Now they have to work together. And the third is to explain to parents, to donors to the university, to incoming students, that the future of this country, and actually of the whole world, is going to depend on people getting an education that enables them to do something that currently we can't do.
Good. If people want to contact you, how do they contact you for more information?
Perkins J at evergreen.edu.
All right, say it one more time.
Perkins J at evergreen.edu.
Okay, you've been a wonderful guest. My name is Michael Killen. My guest was John Perkins. He's working on plans and policy to help the United States colleges and universities implement an energy curriculum to help prepare the students for the challenges that we now face, including finding jobs. Thank you.